If you're the black sheep of your family and you're working long hours to provide for the people around you, you have likely heard the mindset and the phrase that you need to make sacrifices in order to get there. And that is 100% the truth. You need to make sacrifices. You need to do things that are different from the average person in order to actually get there, right? We all know that. But in the process of having that mindset and adopting that mindset, your health has slipped and been a part of it. You pushed your health off to the side. You've told yourself you're going to deal with it later when you're in the position you want to be in. And you keep pushing your health and putting it back, right? Blaming events. Oh, work's busy. Oh, I have this to deal with after this event. But every time you push it back, you are quite literally sabotaging your own success. Because we all know that you want to get to a point in your life where you're able to enjoy the success and the fruits of your labor that you are putting in now. And you will not be able to live out that very vision that you have if you aren't taking care of your health. If you aren't taking care of the one thing that's going to dictate how you feel, how you think, how you perform, how you carry yourself. If you keep pushing that on the wayside, telling yourself you're going to get round to doing it, getting round to doing it later is going to be too late. Because the years of the abusing caffeine, the poor recovery, the grind mentality, and poor sleep. Don't get me wrong, it's a strong mentality. It's good you have that level of ambition and you are prioritizing your career. That's 100% what you should be doing. But understand, you working on your health with your career can coexist together. There should not be one prioritized more than the other. They are both extremely important. And if you want to succeed and perform and be the most successful version of yourself and actually unlock your full potential, your health and career needs to be a part of it. Because think about it, when you feel good and you look good and you don't have brain fog and you consume the right foods and you get proper recovery, you manage stress, right? And you have low cortisol and you do everything that a high testosterone, high performing man would do, then you're going to perform. You're going to make more accurate and precise decisions. Everyone's going to have more respect in what you say. Everyone's going to believe what you say, right? And all your opinions and what you present is going to hold more weight because you are visibly demonstrating that you can now respect yourself. But without that feature, you are always going to get outcompeted by someone who is in shape and still doing what you do. And let's be honest, you're not putting in the work now and working extremely hard and making the sacrifices necessary just to live an early grave, just to die early, right? And I know that may sound harsh, but for a lot of you, it's the truth and you need to hear it. You can't just keep going through the same motions expecting your health to always be an opportunity you can work on. You have one body, you have one life, right? And you have one opportunity to live it to the best of your ability. And if you aren't going to take your health seriously now, no one else can do that for you. You're always going to feel like something's missing. You're always going to feel dissatisfied. And you're never going to feel like you're living up to your full potential because you're never going to feel your best. You're never going to perform your best. And even if you don't think it now, and even if you have the mindset that, it can't be making that much of a difference, maybe I'm, only a tiny bit overweight, that body fat you're holding on to, the lack of muscle mass that you have will make so much more of a difference than you realize, but you'll only notice it until you get to a point where you're lean, where you have muscle mass, where you're performing, right? When you have high energy levels, when you can think and perform and have a physique that matches your level of ambition. You'll only understand that once you hit that milestone and once you get to that point. And what you need to understand is everyone in life pays the bill of their health, right? They either do it early on by getting into a structure, forming a routine they can stick to, and actually understanding that they need to use some sort of discipline to step out, eat clean foods, make health conscious decisions and actually make it happen. Or they pay later down the line, in bills of regret, wishing they would have done something, in hospital, medical bills, medication, all these additional things that you quite frankly don't want to deal with. And the version of you that is working and grinding right now doesn't want to deal with either. And I'm saying this because, like I said, it's harsh, but it is the truth. And it really isn't that difficult to get in shape and actually start building a physique that allows you to have energy and to start performing. You can genuinely make a significant change and start building new habits and a new identity in the next 6 months. You know, a lot of you guys get it wrong and you think that getting in shape needs to be your number one priority, is going to completely take away all your time and energy from your career and your main goal. But that is not the case. I would argue that it gives you your time and energy back on a much greater scale, right? Because when you know how to always pick the healthy option, you know how to perform, you know how to actually prioritize your health, it's just going to elevate and make you a better person in every single aspect of your life. All right, and a few things that you can start doing today that are going to allow you to do that is understand that walking 10K steps every single day is a non-negotiable, right? No matter what your goals are, walking 10K steps is great for the cardiovascular health, burning calories, for your mindset. It's a great way to break up your day. And you can do this, 10 to 15 minutes after meals, right? Maybe a longer one at lunch if you have time, go on a half an hour walk or so. And you can just break it up. And as long as you're moving throughout the day and you're not just sat down hours and hours straight. Like, I understand a lot of you are sat down working for hours straight. I am, right? When running my business and all these other things. I am as well. I completely get that. Sometimes it is very easy if you don't have it planned out or you don't think about it. Time will pass you by and before you know it, you've skipped that meal. You've relied on caffeine. You didn't go for that walk. It's easy to do. I completely understand. But what you have to understand is 10 to 15 minute digestion walks. Consciously plan them after every single meal. And you do that an hour walking a day, an hour 15 minutes of walking a day. If you can break that up into 3 to 4 walks, that's 10K steps every single day. And the next thing is going to be, you want to hit the gym, honestly, 3 times a week is all you need if you're really short on time. Everyone tries to, follow these social media workouts, look at all these guys who are just doing it for a full-time living. And then they look at these people from the outside perspective and think to themselves, well, there's no way I can do that. That means I don't deserve to be in shape. And that's not the case. That's not how it is, right? Those people are doing it for a living, right? But you just need to hit the gym 3 to 4 times a week. Half an hour to 45 minutes is all you need. As long as you walk in there and you have a structure, you know exactly what you need to be doing, and you don't waste time, you work out, you actually train with intensity and progressive overload, you will get stronger and feel so good about yourself. Right? And like I said before, it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. You step in there, you get it done, and you come out. So if you're able to hit the 10K steps every single day without fail, right? Structure, gym sessions 3 days a week, right? Lifting sessions. You can either set a time that you can show up to every single day, schedule it in your calendar as if it's a meeting, and block everything out of that time period. Because if you wake up in the morning and you don't know what time you're going to the gym, and if you don't know what you're going to do at the gym, realistically, let's be honest, what are the chances you go to the gym? Probably 0%. So you need to make sure you either stick to a numerical time and tell yourself the night before, I'm going to go to the gym every day when it's a training day, so 3 days a week at this exact same time. And if you don't want to give yourself a time frame, you give yourself a time period. So you tell yourself, I'm going to go to the gym before work. I'm going to go to the gym straight after work. So then you don't negotiate with yourself. There's no decision fatigue. And you know that after X happens, you do Y. Pretty simple, right? But if you start negotiating with yourself, you're never going to get it done, right? Because you're always going to pick the easier option. The next thing is going to be, if you can prioritize your nutrition and, pick foods that are healthy, high protein, micronutrient dense, so you can actually perform like a high value man, right? And eliminate brain fog, reduce your cortisol, you will be levels above the version of you before. You'll actually become unrecognizable. And how you're going to do that is you can meal prep on the weekend. That's what I highly recommend for a lot of you guys who don't have the time to really do too much throughout the week. You can meal prep on the weekends, and then instead of whilst you're eating food throughout the week, now you don't need to walk 20 minutes, wait for 10 minutes for your fast food, and then come back. Now it's just there. It's food that tastes good, that serves you, and it takes much less time to prepare. And if you can't meal prep on the weekends because, you have a family, you have children, other things pop up, I understand that's not always something you can do as well. And if you do need to eat out, just make health conscious decisions. pick high protein options. Whatever meal you have, base your meal around your protein source. Pick a protein source and base everything else around it. That way, you're going to feel full, you're going to feel satiated, and the meal is most likely going to be good for you, assuming you actually make those decisions. And if you guys want help with anything I just mentioned, my Instagram DMs are always open. Feel free to drop me a message. The link will be in the description, along with a link where you can book a call with me if you want one-on-one coaching, if you want to apply. I'll ask you some questions, see if you're a good fit. But yeah, if you have any questions about how to structure things in your lifestyle, you want any guides or resources and just additional information, ask me some questions. My Instagram DMs are always open. I'm always there. So utilize that. I'll respond to all of you guys. So make sure to go ahead and do that if you have any questions. And something else that a lot of you are missing and not prioritizing, which is literally so essential in your longevity, your success, your health, your testosterone, your hormones, and just the way you perform and act and make decisions, is your sleep. Right? So many of you are just expecting good sleep to happen on its own, when in reality, you don't do any preparation for it. Right? You slam caffeine late into the evening, you work in a hot environment, you are just stressed, you don't set work blocks in a specific time where you're going to wind down because there's too much going on. And if you don't give yourself a clear structure, you're always going to consume too much caffeine, you're going to overwork, you're going to not be ready or just be in a good state to actually get good sleep. And that's a mistake a lot of you are making. You expect good sleep to come naturally. You think you need to just lie down and then good sleep will come. Like, I used to think the exact same thing. I used to think sleep was like something that, sleep is sleep. You lie down, you get good sleep, you're recovered. But it actually doesn't work like that. There's a lot of stuff you can do to actually prepare and ensure you get good sleep. And it does make a significant difference, because I've been on both ends of the spectrum as well, right? So you guys want to make sure you pick a specific time that you end work. And for a lot of you guys who are running businesses, who are working late into the evening, if that's not realistic, you want to do everything else you possibly can, right? You want to reduce stress. You want to take regular breaks. You want to wear blue light blocking glasses into the evening and limit your blue light so you can actually signal to your brain that it's time to wind down, so you can actually get good sleep, right? Because if you're so hyperactive and stressed out and not using blue light blocking glasses and you're staring directly into blue light, there's no shot you're ever going to get good sleep. There's no way you're going to get good sleep, right? I used to struggle with the exact same thing. You can utilize things like opening a window, no caffeine after 3 p.m., mouth tape even, right? Breathing out of your nose. It may sound silly to some of you that have never tried it, and I thought it was ridiculous, but mouth tape can honestly increase your breathing and just your recovery by a significant amount. I'm not sure on the exact percentage, but I noticed a significant difference when I did it. So mouth tape is a big one. And just all those little small things that you may think are very small will add up, right? No caffeine after 3 p.m., mouth tape, blue light blocking glasses if you're working till late. And if you can, you want to block time slots out of your day where work cuts off at that time and you have the rest of the evening for yourself. You can, spend time with your family, wind down, and actually, do what you want to do. Because although building your dream life and building your career and finances is, it's a big responsibility as a guy, right? 100%. It's something you need to do. But at the same time, you need to make sacrifices where necessary, but also be in it for the longevity and for the health reasons. Because if you don't do that, like I said before, you're going to end up in an early grave with the successes that you thought you were going to be able to enjoy, but now you're not. And the last thing I have to say about all of this is that you need to take control of your circumstances. You need to take responsibility, and you need to start helping yourself today, right? Because no one is going to force you to eat clean foods. No one's going to force you to make health conscious decisions, to hit 10K steps when it's slightly cold outside, when you don't want to show up to the gym when you're, tired already, like mentally. No one is going to force you to do those things, but the second you can make those things a habit, you can form a new identity that wants to go to the gym and understands that taking care of your health and fitness will give you all of your time and energy back. That is when progress will feel smooth. You'll start looking forward to making health conscious decisions, and it won't feel like something you have to actively, think about or something that you have to view as something that's difficult. It's just going to be something that's second nature. You make the right decisions, you feel healthy, you feel good. You understand your body, you become the version of yourself that makes those decisions because you know how important those things are. So take control of yourself, start taking the necessary steps and prioritizing your health. And trust me when I say it, watch your success transform. Watch everything in your life transform and get significantly better. And stop waiting for the perfect time, most of all, right? There is no perfect time. There's always going to be another event, another meeting, another opportunity for you to get a promotion, another birthday party, another opportunity for you to eat bad food, right? Another holiday, always another opportunity for you to fall off track, to, eat bad foods. But the people that are in shape, they just use their environments. They always make the best out of any given situation. They don't tell themselves, oh, I'm going to allow myself to, completely fall off track and binge eat and whatever. They always find a way to still continue moving forward and continue building momentum, even if it's a smaller step, right? As long as you're progressing and you're never standing stationary and never standing still, that's progress, because health is never perfect and your life is never perfect. But you have to take action and make those decisions to get to that point in the first place. Stop making excuses. Take care of your health and everything will improve. That being said, I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you in the next one.